Rosie, who is the daughter of a rich family, she loved her bodyguard David, but today she completely ignored David, just gave a cold back view and left. Because till now Rosie tried to come to him in every way, leaving her attitude. She tried to make him happy by adopting thousands of ways. David thought that this was also Rosie's new drama, a game to get caught. This time Rosie had really decided to leave him, but who knows? Last night Rosie accidentally heard David and her father, and she found out that David is not an ordinary bodyguard, and that too her clever sister Susie Parfida. David hid his real identity and chose to stay with Rosie as a bodyguard for 24 hours, because that way he could see his crush Susie every day. Rosie remembered when David came to be a bodyguard for the first time, so she was so impressed with his smart look that from that day she started following him for 3 years. She kept thinking of new ways to get closer to him every day, but David never looked at her carefully. First she thought that maybe David's nature is gold, but one day she saw that Susie's photo was everywhere in David's room, and she was looking at them with love. Then Rosie understood. She didn't lack anything. David's heart was already written in the name of someone else. After understanding all this, that same night Rosie went to her father and said that she would go to Susie's place and marry the eldest son of the Joja family, who was a daughter-in-law, and no girl wanted her. She just kept one condition. She needed 500 crores, 50,000 crores. Her father wasn't ready, but to save her other daughter Susie, she listened to Rosie. Now Rosie decided that she would clear David's way. She would get what she wanted. As soon as she would marry and go to the Joja family, she would set David up with Susie. But in the next day's party, Susie pretended to turn her back and fell into David's arms and started flirting without any shame. Rosie saw all this and thought that her 3 years of hard work was a big joke. Susie caught her sadness immediately, and with her poisonous mind, she grabbed Rosie's hand and pushed her into the pool of water. Hearing this, David jumped to save Susie without losing a second and ran away with her to the hospital. She didn't even remember that Rosie had also drowned in the water. When Rosie came to her senses, she found herself in the hospital. David just said a cold sorry. Rosie held herself and told her that tomorrow we will go to an auction with her. Rosie said only 2 words. Auction is in Hensai Center. Susie will also come. David immediately got ready. Rosie laughed. Take Susie's name, and you forget all the principles. Don't worry. Very soon I will leave you to her. The next day, Susie came to Rosie smiling at the auction and thanked David for saving her last night. Rosie left without saying anything. The first word she said was a painting of her mother. She applied it because it was her last memory. Rosie said immediately. Susie deliberately increased the word. Rosie spent 50 crores in anger, but all of David pointed to his assistant. Today, Susie can do whatever she wants. We will all buy it. Susie now got all the air that this painting is her last symbol, and today, the same painting. He is giving it to impress someone else. Finally, Susie won the painting. Rosie left her ego for the first time and said, please give this painting to me. Susie smiled and said, okay, but first I will kneel in front of everyone and ask for forgiveness. Rosie really sat on her knees for her mother's memory, but Susie did not stop. She tore the painting into pieces at that moment. Now Rosie could not bear it, and she slapped him hard. David, who was still quiet, now he was boiling. The matter did not end there.